All right, today we're going to teach you all about the goji berry. A lot of you out there know what this is, a lot of you don't. Even the people who do know what it is aren't really sure what it is. Some people call it the wolfberry, some people call it the goji berry. There's Lycium barbarum, there's Lycium this and that. A lot of misinformation about this particular food item, the goji berry. So last year, JP and I decided we were going to solve all the nonsense by growing our own, seeing how well they did. We found information that they grow from zones 3 to 10, that they like pH soil, that they like, they like acidic soil, they like alkaline soil, all kinds of contradicting stories. You're going to hear the real deal right here from guys who grew 4 to 6 foot plants from the berry in an 8-month growing season in Zone 5 Detroit.
The goji plant, Lycium barbarum, its Latin botanical name, is a berry-producing shrub habit-like plant. You notice all these woody stems at once. That's what classifies a tree from a shrub right there.
Well, last year, JP and I decided to plant those seeds. We had a 100% germination rate. 100% germination rate. We're going to show you how we grew our goji so that you can grow yours. Everyone's calling it a superfood. There's all kinds of drinks out there. Goji this drink, goji that drink. Most of the drinks, in fact, every drink that has goji in it that I've found, they get the juice by reconstituting the berry. So what they do overseas in China is they take the berry and then they dry it out like this, a dried berry. Then they rehydrate it with distilled water, create a juice, and then call that goji juice. Well, that's bullshit. That's not goji juice. There's no winemaker out there who's going to take a grape and dehydrate the grape into a raisin, rehydrate it, and make a good wine from it. Okay, so last year JP and I grew, there's at least 250 of these 5-gallon pots.
Yes, sirree.
In one season, from March, early March until the fall, we took the goji from the berry that you see right here to this plant that you see here. We have some that are as high as 6 feet tall, multi-stemmed. This plant is ultra super hardy. JP has some of his own taste and what types of fertilizers he likes to use, so we're always arguing with each other as to what the best is. Any farmer you meet, we all have our own way of doing things. I really love azomite. It's a trace mineral. It comes from Utah, off of a mountain. Amazing stuff. Kelp, super fantastic, and a little tiny bit of chicken manure. Kelp, azomite, chicken manure. Those are the 3 soil conditioners that we're going to start with for our goji berries. JP's mixing them all up right now.
I'm going to need some of the kelp here.
So when you do fertilizing, remember it's exactly like how your grandmother cooks or how hopefully you cook. There's no specific recipe. There's elements that you use and you play with them, you throw them in. I like to go light on the chicken manure. I like to go moderate to heavy on the kelp, and I like to go heavy on the azomite. All right, touching your soil is important. The energy that comes through your hands, the love that's in your heart, it's all transmitted right to this soil. So when we mix our soil with our soil conditioners, get your hands dirty. Real quickly, since I just said the word dirty, dirt is not dirty. This is not dirty.
Dirt is a dirty word. This is soil.
This is soil. This is soil. Touch your soil. Get your hands in the earth. So we rub it around, we pack it in. Now I'm going to show you a little trick that I figured out when I plant the goji seeds. This is 1 cell. So in this particular tray there's 4 cells, and I'm going to put 2 seeds per cell. 1 right here and 1 right there. Watch. I just take 2 of my fingers and make an indentation, just like that. Then I take 1 goji berry, the whole berry. The way nature works is they put fruit around seeds because when that fruit drops, it decomposes and it gives the seed everything it needs to grow. So we're going to go ahead and put the seed fully in, and there's at least 30, I'm sorry, not the seed, the berry. We're going to put the berry in. There's at least 30 seeds per berry, at least. There's a lot, yeah, Katie's saying there's hundreds, there's tons of them in there. So we put 2 seeds per cell, just like that. And you can use your fingers, make life really easy, really simple, really quick. Boom, boom. First of all, I'm going to grow my gojis in a cold frame. When I did it last year with JP, we did it indoors under fluorescent lights. But these are going to go into my cold frame. What you're going to see when you start growing your gojis is that a white mold develops around the berry. And at first, when I saw that, I thought, oh man, deal's over, game's over, mold's here, it's all done. Well, what actually ended up happening is about a week and a half after that white mold, all of them popped right up. The goji berry takes between 2 and 3.5 weeks to pop out of the ground. Once it pops, look at the growth. It's just strong, a very strong plant. What JP's doing is he's going over and then boom, watch this. Look at how simple that is. He's just top coating. That easy. Give it a little pack. This is not a delicate plant. This is a absolutely hardy, tough, rough plant. It's fantastic.
Step back.
So you want to use a spray, and you're going to see some of the gojis actually come out. And there are more efficient watering methods than this. My lawn's a little thirsty, so that this is okay, even though I'm not going to do a lawn. So you remember what JP taught us about the corner edge effect?
Right here, guilty as charged. Corner and edge effect.
So JP taught us that the corner edge effect means that on the corners and the edges of your trays, you generally get less performance from the vegetable start. And these things aren't even growing yet, but we already missed packing this corner properly.
Yeah, one corner. So off the bat, let alone the outside resistance from your environment is one thing, but if you can't even pack your flat right.
There it is. So I wintered over some 200 plants and at my house in 5-gallon buckets. Generally, when you winter a plant in a bucket in Michigan or a pot, it doesn't do so well. Every single one of these guys is alive and thriving. In fact, we got a special blessing. What happened is I went outside and I noticed that somebody had been pruning my goji plants, which is a good thing because they need to be pruned down. And who did it? The rabbits. The rabbits pruned my plants for me. Not only that, they actually shit in all the pots. I saw all these pellets and I didn't quite know what was going on. Then it dawned on me. The bunnies came, they pruned our plants, and they fertilized them. To me, that was all I needed to see to know that this plant is meant to be growing here. I'm going to show you one more thing. This is a tray of goji starts that we started to propagate in the late season. We put these gojis in around August, and by the time it started to freeze, this is how much growth we had. As an experiment, I left these trays outside. No water, no protection, no light. Some of them were thrown around. I mean, they got mixed up in the jumble. Every single one of them's alive. And the way you find out if they're alive or not is you just scratch a little bit of the bark and you expose the cambium layer. And when it's brown, it's dead. And when there's green, it's alive. You see that green right there? So this is what you do to get started. You need to keep them warm, indoors with fluorescent lights or in a cold frame. We're going to show you in supplemental videos on the goji what happens when they get to certain heights. We're going to transplant them from these cells to 1-gallon pots. And then we're either going to put them in the ground or we're going to put them in more 5-gallon pots and give them to people or sell them, or who knows what we're going to do with them. I want to reiterate some key points. The first point is that when we do this, when we do our seed germination, we use 3 basic soil conditioners: azomite, kelp, and chicken manure. We'd love to hear what your little tricks are. Second point, when you grow the goji from the berry, you're going to see mold grow around the berry. That's fine, it's wonderful. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the goji berry to pop. Once it pops, there's no stopping it. It is just going to grow.
As you see here, we got all our goji berries from 4-pack cell trays to 5-gallon buckets. And in finding all these different containers, they were all recycled or reused from nurseries or other landscaping activities we were into.
From Dharamsala to Detroit. Is there a town that starts with a D? We could make one up, no one would know. From Dangkok, from Ding Ding Doodle to Detroit.